When you, the chosen one, enter the stage, your energy causes their egos to kneel before you. Everyone goes quiet because you resemble their granddad. You have the authority. You possess the power. You already know where to go. Your sheer presence confuses their thoughts to ruin their games. Those who attempt to put words in your lips are subconsciously accepting your superiority to them. Everyone who speaks against you has a hidden adoration. There is a subtle appeal in their voice. They attempt to figure you out, but they can't because you're a game changer. You are the one who emerges from outside the system to establish the throne. You will see in this film that you are their secret objective, their never-ending infatuation, and their insatiable jealousy. Because you don't just stroll. You make a mark as you go. And that mark, it keeps them awake at night. If you're ready, let's find out why they're still talking about you, and why they secretly see you as a role model. In the comments now, because you are their giant dog, but they can't say it out loud yet. But they will. The moment will arrive. When they initially approached, there was an obvious air of confidence about them. Their every motion appeared designed to wow. However, you saw right through the shroud they attempted to throw, while others praised them. You remained unaffected, standing firm with a quiet but evident might. You were not influenced by their seduction, nor did you fall into their traps. Instead, you stood steady, unshaken, while they struggled to interpret you despite their customary techniques. You merely smiled as you acknowledged the deceitful tactics that had captured everyone else. Now they're perplexed, fascinated by the one person they can't go beyond. And it's making them insane. They've never met someone who treated them nearly as you did. And it's causing an infatuation they can't shake. They've always been able to manage the situation, forcing people to dance to their tune, causing uncertainty and mayhem in their wake. They tugged just enough to elicit an emotional response, then retreated to keep the tension alive, manipulating the cycle precisely. It is a trap. They have utilized it repeatedly. But with you, the carousel of control came to a standstill. You just got off the ride. You didn't follow their rules. And now they're the ones bewildered, caught in the same cycle they believe they controlled. Your lack of response has completely disarmed them. Your composure and ability to remain impartial sliced through their deception like it was nothing. They couldn't receive the reaction they needed to keep spinning their story. And this has infuriated them more than anything else. They are now compelled to go within, to face the consequences of their own acts, and they can only blame themselves. Beneath their apparent serenity, they are disintegrating mentally. The questions continue to swirl. Why didn't you respond like everyone else? Why didn't you offer them the emotional outpouring they were looking for? Why didn't you battle for their attention, plead, or follow their dramatic pattern? They can't solve the puzzle of your lack of reaction since there is no villain to blame. They find themselves at a loss. Your energy doesn't fit into their predetermined box, and they're perplexed as to why they can't inspire or define you. The human mind is built to comprehend patterns, but you don't fit into theirs, which is why they're fascinated. You've disrupted their typical routine, and you now linger in their minds like a ghost, untouchable and unknown. They can't abide the notion that you exist outside their control. That's why they keep coming back to you, unable to let go. If you are experiencing an excess of divine love in your heart, now is the moment to share it. You may help spread God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube and donating $100 or more. This wonderful gift will affect not just your life, but the souls of countless others via this platform. Each of you has a special role in God's big plan, and your giving will be the result of our prayers. Act now. Share your benefits to honor His kingdom. You were meant to do much bigger things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. They attempted to pull a rise out of you, but all they got was your calm detachment. And the estrangement, it removed their authority. They attempted to keep you engaged in their contrived drama, but after you departed, they couldn't handle the stillness. So they proceeded to weave tales, creating a new narrative in which you remained a member of their world and tied by their influence. They've begun to convince people that you're still in their lives, weaving stories of future reunions, imagined pledges, and covert plans that never materialized. These are not misconceptions. They are purposeful fabrications designed to keep you engaged in their plot long after you leave the location. They can't bear the emptiness of your absence, so they're filling it with imaginations, hoping others will believe the lies they've made up. To your friends, coworkers, and even strangers, they are creating an image of love and connection that never existed. They cling to the notion that you are still a part of their world, still interested in their mess, and still lurking in the background, waiting for the appropriate time to return. But the reality is you left, and they can't take it. It is not about missing you. It's about their need for control. They missed the affirmation they received from having you in their circle, just as you previously nourished their ego. Since they can't have you physically, they're attempting to influence how others see you. Your reputation, image, and name. This is the new battleground. They may not be able to approach you personally, but they are working hard to influence impressions about you. They are counting on ignorance, believing that people would swallow their distorted story without inquiry. You already know that the game is rigged. The walls are closing in on them, and they don't even realize it. So let us be clear. When you're caught up in a system that prioritizes profit and power above people, where the truth is disguised and falsehoods are spread, you have the option of submitting or fighting back, and you've chosen to fight. The Obsidian in Order is here to assist individuals who choose to rise above the cacophony, resist the machine, discover the truth, and transcend the illusions. Supporters of our effort get a weekly live tarot reading, as well as wisdom, insight, and clarity that goes beyond the surface. They seek to alter the narrative and instill doubt and mistrust in the minds of people around you. They seek to cause uncertainty and turn your own community against you. They urge people to mistrust your decisions and wonder whether you're the one who is unstable. However, none of this is genuine. The tales they tell, the phony closeness they create, the notion that there is still something between you. It's all a frantic effort to maintain an already broken bond. Instead of addressing the reality of your departure, they are hiding behind falsehoods, seeking to fill the vacuum you left with tales they can manipulate. But this is the reality. It is not theirs to manipulate. You have already detached from their turmoil, but they refuse to let go. They cannot accept the reality. You are no longer part of their universe. They weave tales and create false narratives. They're just desperate efforts to hang on to a version of yourself that no longer exists. They seek to influence how others perceive you, to rewrite history, and to claim the narrative as their own. However, the more they attempt to twist the tale, the more they reveal themselves for who they are. Someone who feeds on manipulation and deception. The more they reach out, the more desperate they seem. They cannot reach you. Not anymore. That's what's making them furious. They can't stop the truth from unfolding. You never participated in their game. You were never supposed to be captivated by their tale. You were brought into their lives to mirror their realities back to them, not to become another participant in their mess, but to reveal who they really are. When you walked away, you did not just leave their lives. You disrupted a pattern they had followed for years. You disrupted the cycle of manipulation, and now they're attempting to put together a tale that doesn't make sense. But no matter how much they try to rewrite history, they can't erase the fact that you saw through them. And this is what scares them the most. You did not crumble beneath the burden. You didn't fall for their tricks. You stood your ground and went away. And that act alone exposed all they had sought to conceal from themselves. And now, no matter how many times they attempt to change the narrative, the reality about who you are stays unassailable. They've been attempting to instill doubt in the minds of people closest to you. What is their goal? Make others mistrust your objectives, to make you seem unstable or unpredictable. However, their idea is more than simply an effort at projection. It is an invasion of your reality. They're infiltrating your life with other people's words, aiming to reclaim control of the narrative by distorting your connections. However, none of this is accurate. None of their stories have any weight. They're nothing more than a desperate attempt to connect with something that no longer exists. They are attempting to replace your energy by creating illusions. What they're doing doesn't reflect on you. It is a frantic rejection of the truth. They are unable to accept that they have been left behind. They are unwilling to embrace the emptiness that follows. So they fill it with lies. They do not want people to perceive you as someone who has moved on. So they modify the story to make it seem as if there is still something between you. But in fact, that tale just lives in their minds. Even that illusion is fracturing. You did not just walk away from them. You shattered the pattern that they had been relying on for so long. They thrive on control, shaping people to match their interpretation of reality. But with you, nothing worked. You did not bend. You did not change. And you did not perform for their approval. You stayed unshaken, autonomous, and sovereign. The revelation rocked them to their core. They describe you as cold, aloof, or even uncaring. But they are not your weaknesses. They're just the insecure projections of those who can't face the brightness you shine in their eyes. Your continuous calm is an enigma, a mystery that interrupts the comfort of their usual pandemonium. What they genuinely cannot accept is that you never fell into the traps they skillfully put up. You refused to get involved in their web of created drama. When the time came to indulge in theatrics of emotional outbursts, you stood firm with a calm dignity that left them perplexed. You didn't succumb to the temptation of their fake devotion, those ephemeral, shallow gestures intended simply to incite strife. Instead, you remained the calm amid the storm, a constant presence. When panic was the anticipated response in critical situations when most people would protest or despair, you opted to remain silent. A terrible quiet that wrecked their meticulously laid preparations. Your tranquil resilience was like a gentle stream carving its way through tough terrain, steady and uncompromising. And that, my friend, is what actually disturbed them. Your capacity to remain steadfast and not succumb to the tidal powers of their deception shines like a light in the darkness. It serves as a continual reminder that you are not a puppet to be manipulated or a character in their failed story. You absolutely and utterly belong to yourself. Their efforts to label you are nothing more than a pathetic attempt to throw shadows over your natural brightness. They see your serenity as detached and your stillness as indifferent. However, the reality is considerably more profound, and your quiet is the language of strength, demonstrating your deep awareness of life's rhythms and unwillingness to be influenced by the fleeting whims of those who live on turmoil. You have an unusual capacity to see through their ruses when others perceive a maze of secrets and deception. You see patterns of self-deception and misplaced objectives. Like an expert gardener who knows which weeds are about to strangle the life out of a blooming orchard, you can discover the hidden motivations underlying their acts. You understand that their efforts to elicit an emotional response are nothing more than desperate tactics aimed at regaining control. And in that clarity, you become a force they cannot account for, an immovable object in a world constructed on changing sands. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace come upon you today. I'm here to remind you of a fundamental fact. Our existence is based on God's divine purpose and is unaffected by worldly worries. According to the Bible, everything is done with faith will be returned to God with great blessing. Luke, like the enormous oak tree, our roots are profoundly embedded in God's global truth. His power secures every stride and every stance we take. And now you have the chance to be a part of that gift. When you utilize the super thank you button and contribute $100, you will get a 100-fold return on your investment. It isn't enough that you refuse to react to their provocations. It's that your mere presence contradicts their need for drama in every instance in which they anticipated you to respond. Instead, you selected a road of contemplative quiet. You became a mirror that reflected back their own fears, revealing the hollowness of their goals. They label you indifferent, unfeeling, and even heartless because they can't understand how someone can stay calm in the midst of pandemonium. However, they fail to see that your serenity does not imply the lack of emotion. It is the existence of an inner tranquility that is impenetrable to the sounds of the outer world. They attempt to damage your image by twisting the facts into something unrecognizable. Their narrative is one of control, an intricate plot in which you play the adversary in their drama of self-importance. They exploit the words of others to spread false tales like wildfire in an attempt to portray you as the unstable person. The unstable soul is incapable of managing reality. Their goal is to isolate you, confuse those who care about you, and cause everyone to doubt your judgments and character. But let me tell you, This contrived pandemonium is nothing more than a desperate effort to maintain a connection that has long been lost. Their ideas of power fall in the face of your reality. You see, their approaches do not represent who you are. They reflect their own incapacity to accept change. They yearn for the comfort of their old, faulty story, in which they were the masters and you were a flexible subject. However, you broke that illusion by refusing to be dragged into their created drama. You no longer provide gasoline for their flames of resentment. Instead, you've removed your energy, allowing them to wallow in their own lies and fantasies. What they see as detachment is really a representation of your inner power, which strengthens with each effort they make to disrupt your balance. Now, when people call you cold or aloof, it's only a reflection of the vulnerability they refuse to admit in themselves. They can't believe that you, who stands so solidly in the light of truth, could ever be persuaded by the trifling matters that occupy their thoughts. Their failure to provoke you is not your fault. It is a realization of their own powerlessness. They attempted to elicit a response, a spark that would fan the fires of their story. But all they saw was the unwavering fire of your will. Your quiet isn't empty. It has echoes of knowledge. The calm strength of someone who has learnt to rise above the pettiness of manipulation at times when others might bow to conformity demands. You've chosen a different route, one paved with sincerity and a strong sense of self-worth. This route is laced with the lasting gold of self-respect and unwavering confidence, rather than the shallow glitter of transient affirmation. And every time you resist their efforts to dominate, you demonstrate integrity and bravery. Your life becomes a testament to the idea that genuine power is found in nourishing the divine spark inside, rather than succumbing to external demands. They may attempt to label you as unfeeling or disconnected, but such terms are meaningless in comparison to the fact of who you are. Your heart, albeit silent in the midst of their attack, beats with ferocious tenacity and unyielding dedication to your own fate. And as you continue on your road, your unwavering determination serves as a light for those who are fed up with the never-ending cycle of manipulation and drama. Your capacity to stay calm and see through their disguises is a gift, a reminder that there is a better way of life, one in which tranquility and power live happily. Consider a tranquil lake, unaffected by the tumultuous winds that whip over the surface of a stormy sea. That's your soul. A haven of peaceful introspection among the commotion created by others in their vain efforts to stir up trouble. You stand firm as a boulder, impenetrable to the spinning maelstrom of their anxieties. Your presence emanates calm dignity and says volumes, a demonstration of the strength that comes from living truthfully in this calm. You do not just exist. You live on, encouraging those who want to break free from their own self-imposed restrictions. As you continue down this route, remember that the depth of your belief or intuition determines your strength, not the cacophony around you. Sharp discernment pierces through their webs of deception, like a ray of light passing across a darkness place. It uncovers the reality beneath their masks, showing the inner workings of a system founded on insecurity and the need for control. And as this fact becomes apparent, so will your own strength, an indisputable power that grows with each step you take toward your purpose. You were never intended to be limited by their stories or weakened by their efforts at manipulation. Instead, you were here into this world to climb beyond, to shine with a brightness beyond their comprehension. Your life exemplifies the possibilities of change, a live, breathing example of how inner tranquility and unwavering strength can shatter even the most powerful control systems. While they continue to struggle with their misguided attempts, you are working to leave a legacy of optimism and empowerment. So, stand up and let your light show through. Recognize that any moment of peace in the middle of their craziness is a success, a proclamation that you have power over your own fate. Their words, their tales, when confronted with the force of your steadfast truth, their pathetic efforts to lure you into their bog of lies are futile. For you are a chosen vessel, a light of heavenly power. Nothing can take it away from you. Accept your inherent power. Allow your quiet to say volumes, and continue on your path with the confidence that you are precisely where you are supposed to be in this trip. Remember that your difficulties are not obstacles, but rather stepping stones on your path to a greater goal. Your persistence in the face of their constant pursuit demonstrates the strength of your spirit as you go ahead. Remember that the obstacles you face are chances to develop, increase your awareness, and strengthen your dedication to live a life of integrity and grace. Your ability to remain steady and keep your calm while others lose it is a unique and powerful trait. It not only protects your soul, but also encourages others to seek the same inner strength. You have become a living example of what it means to rise above the crowd and forge your own path with clarity and conviction. And for this, you are honored not just by others who perceive your light, but also by the cosmos itself, which conspires in favor of those who dare to stand in their truth. It's time to spread God's blessings by pressing the super thank you button on YouTube. With a $100 payment or more, you may help him carry out his plan and become a part of this heavenly mission. Every contribution symbolizes God's generosity, and I think it will come back to you enormously, far beyond your expectations. Remember that his protection and blessing are with you every step and every contribution. You become a part of his divine plan. You are a powerful, dazzling entity, as solid as the massive rock that saw God's marvels. Feel the rewards of your kindness in your spirit, and light up the world with confidence and bravery. Be blessed, and let the light of the Lord lead you. Let your life serve as a constant reminder that true power comes not from outward shows of passion or spectacular gestures, but from a profound, unwavering faith in the divine order of things. Your persistent presence, your calm resolve, is a force that changes the world around you. It brings out the best in people while dispelling uncertainty and anxiety. You are a living marvel, a monument to the beauty of a soul free of the illusions of control. As you continue on this journey, let every step be guided by the steadfast certainty that you are meant for greatness. The hardships you go through, the difficulties you confront, and the wins you enjoy, all of them are pieces of a larger tapestry that is distinctively yours. Maintain a firm stance. Keep your spirit pure, and know that no amount of effort can ever lessen the brightness of your inner light. You are and will always be a force of nature, a real incarnation of the divine power that lives within you. It was never intended that they absorb or swallow your presence. You were not sent into their lives to become another victim. You were supposed to reflect their genuine character back to them, like a mirror. They couldn't get away from your presence alone. They exposed their shadows and the portions of themselves they had sought to conceal. And for someone whose power derives from the belief that exposure is terrible, they needed someone who would follow rules, someone who will bow to their authority. Instead, they encountered someone who did not recoil at the monster hiding behind their grin. They are now unable to unsee it. They are both attracted to and repulsed by you. You didn't simply deny them control, you gave it to them in a form they couldn't understand. You pushed them to face the aspects of themselves they wished to hide. They are now unable to determine whether to punish or possess you. Both are likely motivated by a desire to exert control over what they do not comprehend. They sought someone who could fit into their ideal, someone who would fail under pressure, someone who will accept their story. But you did not do it. You held your ground, stayed loyal to yourself. And in doing so, you sparked exactly what they were trying to prevent. Their whole existence. They despised you not for your nastiness, but for your unrelenting honesty. You refused to become what they desired. And in that rejection, they discovered everything they are not. They saw their own shortcomings mirrored in you. And this is why they will never forget you. You weren't put in their lives to fall for their schemes. You were meant to see them as they actually are. Not the identity they created, not the tale they told, but the naked, unadulterated reality of who they are. Underneath everything,